Good morning. Aloha. I'm Miguel Perez-Pinzon. I'm the chair of the ISC 2019, accompanied by...
I'm Louise McCulloch. I'm the incoming vice chair for the International Stroke Conference, and we're really excited to welcome you to Hawaii. We have a great lineup for you this year.
Yes, in fact, we have a really exciting program this year, beginning today with two pre-conferences and the Stroke Nursing Symposium. The two pre-conferences are really exciting. We have a clinical one and a basic science one. The clinical one is dealing with the big kahuna, the searching for the rare causes of stroke. And the basic science is a new joint venture between ISC and the International Society for Cerebral Blood Flow and Metabolism. It is a new joint venture, and we have really some exciting science in both of them. Luis, you can mention some of the exciting.
Excellent. Yeah, so we're really looking forward to this year's pre-conferences where we've tried to examine some of the hottest areas of translational research. Our pre-conference is looking at things like how the microbiome, the microbial colony that lives within us, influences our health. We're also looking at neuroimmune interactions, which are becoming very important in stroke and aging. And we're also looking at brain metabolism with our new partner.
Yeah, so this is really exciting what we have in the program today for the pre-conferences. Along with that, we have 3 days of really exciting clinical trials, educational sessions, and really exciting basic science all throughout the 3 days of the conference. Just to mention few, there are some exciting clinical trials that I'll be looking for over the next 3 days. For example, tomorrow on Wednesday, there is a SHINE trial that it's looking at how to control hyperglycemia in stroke patients. It's known that hyperglycemia is something that occurs after a stroke and is linked to worse outcomes. So in this trial, they are looking at trying to control hyperglycemia with IV infusions of insulin up to 72 hours. So it will be exciting to see what the results are of this trial. On Thursday, there is the Enchanted Trial that is actually looking at controlling blood pressure during thrombolytic therapy. And that's important too because this type of therapy may have the consequences of having some bleeding. And lowering blood pressure, it's important. It's a possible way of controlling bleeding. So they'll be looking at efficacy with and decreasing bleeding in this trial. Also on Friday, there is another exciting one is IDEF that is looking at deferoxamine, which is a compound that in animal models was found to actually chelate iron, which is a product of bleeding during ICH. So they are taking this into humans in a clinical trial, and it will be exciting to see if this trial is moving forward beyond phase 2. So those are kind of the clinical trials that I'm looking forward. Also, there's some fascinating basic science symposia being presented. We have new roles of RNA, which is a molecular biology approach to potential neuroprotection. That's an interesting symposia that will happen. There's a novel topic of parasites, which are cells that are found in the microvasculature and would be important for microcirculation. So that's another topic that we will be looking forward during the conference. Of course, there are a lot more clinical presentations, but it's very important to point out that this conference is also about education. So we have a number of sessions that are dedicated for education. For example, we have one of the champions from the last few years, Game of Strokes, which is basically it's a game where we have different regions of the world. We have North America versus Europe versus Africa and Asia, competing for diagnosing very special cases in stroke. It's very exciting and has an educational purpose. After Game of Strokes, of course, we have the SET talks, which are like TED-type talks, where we have 3 leaders in the field of stroke that are going to be presenting hot topics and new avenues for stroke research in the future.
That sounds like a great lineup, Miguel. So I think we definitely have tried to integrate the basic science and the clinical science this year. As everyone recognizes, there's this huge translational chasm of how we translate our basic science into effective clinical trials. So we are trying to bring clinicians and basic scientists together to enhance trial design and to pick really good targets for our future. We do have a lot of very exciting clinical trials coming out this year. As Miguel mentioned, there are several. Ones that I'm particularly looking forward to are things on Wednesday, the glycerol trinitrate trial, the RIGHT-2 trial, because this is a trial that takes ultra-early treatment in the ambulance of glycerol trinitrate, so bringing the therapy directly to the patient in the field. Also, we have very exciting results on Thursday involving the MISTY trial, which is going to have both a medical and a neurosurgical presenter, and they will present the results of that trial, which is looking at surgical intervention, minimally invasive surgery, to reduce clot burden in patients with intracerebral hemorrhage, and that's going to be a very exciting trial. On Friday, we have what I think is going to be very interesting and maybe the wave of the future is bringing the therapy to the patient. There'll be a talk on how you can use telehealth for stroke patients for rehabilitation. So bringing the doctor to the patient through a tele platform. So instead of having the patient to have to come to the doctor, especially in patients which might have some disability, we're going to bring the doctor to the patient. So I think that's going to be a very exciting new platform because we are going to have to do this in the future. More and more follow-ups, rehab, compliance are going to be very important, and telehealth will be a way to monitor those. I'm also very excited about the pre-conferences. We also have a special luncheon this year for women in science and medicine, which is going to focus on some of our junior trainees being mentored by our senior trainees and finding people who can encourage their presentations and visibility at meetings like this.
The last point I want to add is that this is an international conference. So we do have a large number of speakers, attendees that are from outside the U.S. So it's a very international conference. We have joint conferences with a number of societies from all over the world, Japan, China, Africa. We have a joint conference with the World Health Organization, the World Stroke Society. So it's a very international conference. And that's why we are really excited about what we are getting together. Also, we have the largest number of posters presented ever. So we have broke records. And it's really exciting. That means that the ISC is growing, and it demonstrates it's one of the leaders as a conference in stroke for education and research. So as you can see, we do have a very comprehensive, full of events conference, and so we are really excited for all of you to attend the conference.
And we really appreciate you coming and everybody who helped us with the program committee. As you know, it's a very busy conference. We try and go all the way from the cell and neuron and parasite all the way to rehab and recovery, covering primary, secondary prevention. So we have a broad range of topics, and we know it's a busy conference, but we hope you get the most out of it. Thank you for coming.